My girlfriend thought that she was holding two red and pink dildos. Hey guys, David here. The dawn breaks for what a lot of people are considering the future of gaming. Virtual reality. And entering into the ring is PlayStation with their headset named the PlayStation VR. And right now, Best Buy is currently holding a couple of demos here and there in certain selected locations. I happen to be surrounded by quite a few of them, and so I went to my local Best Buy, I tried out the PlayStation VR, and so here are my impressions. Quick story, I was actually waiting in a line that was mainly consisting of me and maybe another elderly couple. I was up next, but there was a high schooler with his friend trying out the VR headset right there in the seat in front of the television screen, and at some point he actually went, "Ah!" And the PlayStation representative had to take off the headset, had to take off the headphones, and he was like, I'm getting dizzy. I got just tentatively scared that was gonna happen to me, but I was up next, I stepped up to the plate, I strapped on the headset, put on the headphones, and I immersed myself into a demo that was called Valkyrie, which I believe was a spaceship first-person shooter, because it was between that or an underwater experience of some kind, and I'm like, no, I'm a gamer. Give me the shooter. I tried it out, and I really, really did like the PlayStation VR experience. This was actually my first time trying some kind of VR headset, because I know that there's this one, we got the Vive, and I also believe we got the Oculus Rift. Here, you got a VR headset from PlayStation, who's mainly known from gaming. So a lot of people are looking at this to be the portal to the virtual reality gaming market. Because let's face it, the jump from 7th gen to 8th gen, which is from PS3 to Xbox 360 to Xbox One and PlayStation 4, wasn't that humongous of a leap. I mean, the graphics do look a little bit better. Games are able to hold much more information within them at a higher rate and at a much more powerful velocity. But the leap wasn't as big as, say, PS2, GameCube, all the standard def game systems over to high def with the PS3 and Xbox 360. That was a humongous leap that you can clearly tell the difference. At some point, these companies are going to have to invent something new. They just can't keep creating a box over and over and over again for us to keep playing games on just said box. They're going to have to change up the game. And I feel like VR done right could be that way to do it. And the PlayStation VR definitely has me sold for what is in store, because I strapped that thing on, and at first I was a little disoriented, but I was disoriented in the same way that I would try on a 3D glasses and start watching the first 10 or 15 minutes of a 3D movie. Or even if I try on a new prescription of glasses, you feel that slight disorientation at first, but then after a while, I got used to it. And maybe it might be a little easier for hardcore gamers such as myself to get used to it more than much more casual gamers, or even people that don't play video games that much at all. Because you got the screens right here, and it moves along with your movements, obviously, because that's how VR is supposed to work. And it's kind of cool that your head is pretty much the camera, and you move the camera by the movement of your head. Therefore, it kind of eliminates one of the functions of the sticks on the controller, because that's usually how you would move the camera in video games. So the Valkyrie demo that I was using, I stepped into the cockpit of this spaceship or whatever. I looked around and I could see the pilot, the suit, the control panels here on the side, and then I would look forward and the ship would launch itself into space, and before I knew it, I was fighting off enemy fighters. And it's a little jarring at first, because part of you is looking around and being like, oh my god, there's bad guys surrounding me, flying all over the place. But after a while, I was just in it. It reminded me an awful lot of the 3D rides from Universal Studios, or Back to the Future ride, or the Star Tours ride from Disneyland. Now, I don't know how much of a lasting power that can have over a course of 2 hours, because that's where I think they're gonna need to polish some things. Because right now, right off the bat, as much as I enjoyed the VR experience from the PlayStation VR, I don't know that $400 is just gonna do it for me. $400 is a bit steep, because that's a whole new console unto itself. So they're gonna have to do some major reworking, because even though this is a peripheral for a console that kind of already exists, I still feel like that first batch of VR headsets are going to have some kinks in them that people are going to report, and then PlayStation is going to go back to the drawing board, iron those things out, and then send out a new batch of VR headsets that properly work. I'd rather wait for that second batch to come around, and maybe a slight dip in the price, because I think $400 is just a little too steep, especially when you consider the fact that if you want the full VR experience, you need to buy yourself those dildos that my girlfriend was talking about, the PlayStation Move. I already got myself the camera, it's right here, so that's set. but I will have to get myself the Move if I want to be able to have that motion controls. We're looking at possibly $450, $500 total if you don't have yourself the camera. And let's talk about games. As much as I enjoyed that Valkyrie demo, it really did feel like a demo. I really don't see myself playing that for like 2 hours straight, because you're going to need to use the utility of the VR to tell a good story, to play this experience that's highly immersive and never gets old. A game like Valkyrie, good for like 20-30 minutes. A full 2 hours at a time until you complete like a 10-hour campaign, that shit's gonna get repetitive. And I'm looking at this brochure that I was given with the demo, and you got some games that they have in development here, and some of them look alright, some of them have the potential to be killer apps, but then others I'm get kind of worried for. Job Simulator? Really, Sony? Job Simulator. We already have a job simulator. It's called a job. So those are my thoughts on the PlayStation VR. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't stop talking about it for like a good hour after I was done with my girlfriend. And I see the opportunities that they can take with this new peripheral that can open up that giant leap towards the video gaming industry to look at it in a whole new different way, ever since that leap from standard definition to high def. But the $400+ price point, no killer apps in development just yet, except maybe Batman Arkham VR, maybe that. And the dubious but yet very possible likeliness of the first batch of VR headsets to be very defective and just completely broken upon launch makes me feel like the VR headset could possibly wait. I don't see it receiving high priority when it comes to my list of things to buy in 2016. So what are you guys' opinions on the PlayStation VR? What are you guys' opinions on the virtual reality market in general that's going to be coming within the next generation? Post your comments down below. If you're willing to try out the PlayStation VR, go to your nearest Best Buy. They're having a demo there. Check it out for yourself and then come back and let me know. Only then you will find out if virtual reality is going to be for you. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments below your opinions. Like this video, share it, and please subscribe. And before I sign off, I do want to thank you guys personally for helping me reach 4,000 subscribers. For real this time. It happened once, but then the great YouTube purge robbed me of that success by cutting off about 50 or so subscribers. It could have been worse, but I was feeling so good, and they just yanked that rug right up under me. But I think it's for reals this time. Thank you guys so much for 4,000 subscribers. But hey, let's not stop there. 5,000.